Welcome to the Mastering E-commerce Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Eitan Kotter, co-CEO of Vimy. In an era of rising acquisition costs and increased competition, this podcast is dedicated to helping you drive sales, engage customers, and build meaningful communities so you can turn passive visitors into active buyers. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on future content. Now let's get started with the episode. Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Mastering E-commerce Marketing. I'm really excited to talk today with Melanie Boylan. Melanie is the co-founder and director of Stomp social media training. Melanie, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Eitan.
Yeah, we've been discussing about this episode for quite a while. I think I like your unique perspective in terms of providing your services to the world, right? And you took an approach of education and training. Tell us about Stomp social media training and how your approach, evolved to launch Stomp.
Actually started in 2013, completely by accident. The year before, I was volunteering as a sort of person in charge of, I think about 8 or 9 team members, all volunteers, for a charity. And I was posting for this charity on Facebook largely. There wasn't many other platforms out there at the time, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And a magician came across my posts, and you saw multiple types of these posts across different groups and across my social media platform itself. And one day he met me at a birthday party that I was attending and said, "I'd love to know how you do that. Can you show me how you do that?" And that was in 2012. It wasn't very long after that I realized I probably should start charging for this. And that's actually where it started. So I'm quite an accidental entrepreneur, Eitan. And then I started going through start your own business courses and marketing training courses. So I'm largely self-taught. It's really only been the last sort of year, 18 months, that I've become more professionally qualified. I did do a train the trainer many years back because you kind of need to do what I do. But beyond that, up until the last couple of years, I've not really been professionally qualified. But the difference I have made to multiple businesses, not just here in Ireland, but throughout the UK, parts of Europe, a couple of clients in the US, thank you so much. It's just been quite a whirlwind. But Stomp's primary focus is to empower business owners to manage their own social media for themselves, to take the power back, basically, and not have other people doing it for you.
What are the advantages for any business owner to just learn everything and do it on his own versus just working with an agency?
Well, the biggest advantages is nobody knows your business as well. Nobody else can be as authentic. Nobody else can respond as fast. And it's just better knowing it for yourself.
Yeah.
It is your shop front. It's your online footprint. And if you're handing that to somebody else, you first of all have to train them how you speak, who your customers are, what your brand persona is. And that takes time. And any time that you're changing products or services, you get new members of staff, changing location, you have to teach the person who's managing it all over again. And it just takes time. And What is time?
Yeah. So you feel that this is so strategic for any business owner to get experience in and just do it on his own, right?
Yeah. Now, I do understand that not everybody is tech-minded, which is what they put it down to, is tech. Mm-hmm. I do that. All of us have mental blocks. But even if you don't want to do it yourself, I still think it's really important you understand what your account manager is doing for you. You need to have eyes on what they're saying and how they're treating your brand online, how they're responding to your customers. Mm-hmm. Because they are making the name for your brand. They're paving your future or not. It just depends on what they're saying. And I think it's really important that every business owner understands what is being said about their business.
For sure. And how do you, provide these services? It's like, do you tailor made for a specific size of businesses or industries, or is it something generic? Tell us more about the program itself.
It is largely custom built, but it is built from a framework where there is always standardized questions, because there is a standardized set, a sort of template for marketing anyway. And depending on the type of business, so let's say it's a charity, they'll have completely different outcomes that they're looking for than maybe a florist, because they're just different pathways to business. I largely work with smaller businesses, or I certainly did at the beginning. But over the last, I suppose, 5 to 6 years, it's been more larger agencies, more bigger corporates, bigger companies who've got a larger turnover of staff, who want everybody to sing from the same song sheet. And they want to know that there's somebody who can step in if somebody's off sick or leaves. And to that end, I have created sort of a directed course for those type of businesses. But like I said, I still would say most of my clients would be SMEs, so not sole traders necessarily, but SMEs, trying to train their staff and make sure that they're staying on top of all the latest advancements and updates.
Interesting. So what are the platforms that you cover? What are probably the major, I would say, items in this training usually?
Okay, the top ones would be the big ones, the usual ones, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the LinkedIn, TikTok obviously comes up frequently, though things are changing in the US, and also Google Business Profile, which still isn't as utilized as it should be, and it's ridiculously free and massively easy to find on search engine optimization. So I'm also trying to educate people to use that platform, and it doesn't matter whether you're a service or a product, everybody can use it.
Yeah, so the idea is for them first to identify which platform they want to focus, right? Because it depends on their ICPs, on their personas, right? If you are D2C, if you are B2B. So you work across all niches and all type of companies, or just focusing on, let's say, e-commerce brands or D2C or B2B, it doesn't matter?
I've had less experience with e-commerce brands, but I have worked with e-commerce brands. But I think it's because of the type of website they've got. They've already got quite a searchable website because it's got regular updates. Yeah. I suppose the most active thing I've ever done with e-commerce businesses is helping them understand how important it is to not just update their products, but also to update their blogs or latest news, depending on how they want to do it. So another area I would cover, although it is not, social media, it would be digital media in the format of a website. I don't build websites myself, but I do show people how to build a wireframe, how to update it, what things to include, how often to post, and just to have a better understanding again, so that when they go to their own website designer, or if they're going to be using a template website, what to expect.
Yeah. So it's a hands-on approach. You actually open the Facebook, advertising campaign account, just taking step by step, just going through the menu, the checklist, right? Every checkbox, try to explain everything like step by step, right?
See, the great thing, Eitan, about doing social media or digital media in general is I don't have to show them what they already know, because I can see their online footprint. I'm not teaching them how to do stuff that they already are aware of. And largely, people come to me after they've done group training. So they go to a Start Your Own Business course, let's say, or maybe they've just finished a digital marketing qualification, which I do seem to get a lot of. So they've actually done a degree. They're better qualified than I am in real life. Yeah. And so they've come to me with a degree, but the actual real life use of it, they've not performed. They don't know how to respond to a crisis. They've got these templates they were given in university, but they don't know how to actually respond to it. They don't know which schedulers to use. They don't know how to use time management or project management tools. So these are all the areas I go through. But again, it's just so that people better understand how to use it for themselves.
Okay. And what are some of the challenges that you usually hear? I mean, it's lack of time. How do you,
Yeah.
what's your advice for business owners struggling to balance, social media management and other responsibilities?
Do you know, the biggest challenge is burnout. Yeah, seriously, the biggest challenge is burnout because they're expected to do so much all the time. They do full days of work and then they go, oh, I haven't put a post up, I don't know what questions to put out, I don't know what blog to write. And it's just terrible burnout is what I see a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And, I get it. I'm a sole trader as well. I'm seeing clients, I'm marketing, I'm networking, I'm traveling. I get stuck as well at times because I'm human. But planning ahead is a mindset game. It really is. It's a huge mindset game. I know you would know this.
Mm-hmm.
And helping people better understand how to get the most out of their time, still having time for their family, having weekends off, going on holiday for 7 to 10 days and not actually working. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yes, of course. It's the ultimate goal, right?
It is. It is. I mean, I always take 2 weeks off over Christmas and New Year. I have a mental shutdown.
Yes.
And it's so important because I spend my entire life looking online. I'm tapped into everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And even while we're recording this, I've got posts going out and I've got notifications building up that I will have to respond to at the end of this. So there's just no switching off.
Yeah, we are all in this, the same, this is the rules of the game, I guess. So,
yeah.
Right. So I think it's important for you before you start the training to understand company goals, the overall strategy. This is usually where you start. I mean, you mentioned previously that you already see their online footprint, right? You don't need them for that. But there are some goals or the plans for the year. And this should be some kind of an alignment to the work that you do, right?
Well, one of the first questions I ask is, what are you hoping to know by the end of our time together? Mm-hmm. Are you looking for time management tools? Are you looking to build a strategy? Are you looking to outsource work? Because obviously it's handy to outsource the stuff that you don't know to somebody who does. I'm not an accountant. I'm actually numerically dyslexic, so I need an accountant as soon as possible. And so if you don't know something and you have literally no inclination in picking it up, then it is actually worthwhile outsourcing it. I've outsourced graphics in the past for projects or for blogs or anything like that because I just haven't had the time or the interest. And it's not a crime to do that. Mm-hmm. But it's just having a good understanding of the balance of what they're hoping to get out of it. And people don't know what they don't know. So they could say, I want this outcome. And I'm thinking, well, if that's the outcome you're looking for, then you're going to get these added benefits as well. Mm-hmm. And so I can then explain to people, once I've got an idea of what they're looking for, about everything that they can get out of that outcome. And if they push themselves a little bit further, they'll know this as well.
Nice. I think I would love, also our audience would love to learn also from your experience. If you can share with us about your marketing funnel. I mean, who is your ICP? How do you find those opportunities? Is it something structured or is it more word of mouth? We'd love to learn more.
So there's a couple of streams actually. And it's a really good idea that every business that's listening to this podcast today, it's really important that you have multiple streams of revenue. So I do have direct people who come to me, of course, but then I work with other agencies. I've got people who recommend me. I collaborate with several businesses as well, so I appear on their website. And having these multiple revenue streams is really, really crucial, especially as a sole trader, because I'm obviously going to spread myself fairly thin because I'm on my own. And let's say, so a couple of years ago, so 23, it was a pretty quiet. I think I had 2 quarters that were pretty quiet from one revenue stream. Mm-hmm. And it was really handy to have the other revenue streams to fall back on. but looking at different ways to bring in an income, like possibly a passive income as well. So I have a shop on my website now where people could download stuff, and very soon there'll be video courses coming as well. So having passive income streams is also a really good idea, and it doesn't matter whether you're a product or a service, everybody can do it.
Yeah.
And lead generation, that's a really good tool. I mean, as much as I wax lyrical about social media, it's really not very good in isolation. In fact, it's just a very small element of your whole marketing plan.
Yeah.
And, your email list is still probably the best way that you can reach your audience. It's free. They already know what you do, and you just need to tip them over.
Do you deploy both these organic and paid media channels? You advertise as well?
I do. I'm actually currently running an ad at the moment, targeting agencies that sort of educational agencies where they want to bring me on as a mentor or a trainer. So that's one of my revenue streams, is working on behalf of somebody else. And then there's people I collaborate with. There's a great lady here in Ireland where I'm based, who has this incredible ability to apply and win pretty much every tender she's ever gone for. Wow. It's really annoying. Okay, she has this incredible tenacious ability to sit down and sift through, I don't know, 75, 80 pages of tender, make sense of it, and then apply for it and get it. And she had this ability so powerfully that she got so many tenders a couple of years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago now, that she couldn't do all of it. She had so many tenders. So she brought 3 or 4 of us on board with her to help out. And I don't know how she does it. Are you any good at tender writing, Eitan?
Yes, this is part of what we do. Yeah.
Oh, I'm awful at it.
It's a team effort. It's not it's something that so many people need to be involved, right?
Oh, no, she's really, really good at it. So,
nice.
So that's another really valuable revenue stream to have, because I collab on a regular basis with her.
So this, so you're implementing this direct and indirect approach, which I like so much, right? Because it reduces cost of marketing and obviously cooperating, like just partnering up. I think it's a very, very effective lead generation when cost of advertising is increasing, obviously, and so difficult to acquire new customers, right? So that's a great approach to have. And by the way, your campaign it is running right now, the advertising, is it on Facebook or LinkedIn? I mean,
it's on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm going to be following it up with another one, well, the same one actually, but on LinkedIn. Yeah. I wanted to run them separately so I could monitor them more effectively to see what was coming through. Yeah. And also the language is going to be slightly different, so is the graphic. And I prefer to sort of use like a cluster marketing effect where I'm not just doing ads, but I'm also supporting it through speaking, through podcasting, and just through organic posting as well. Because again, doing this one thing, doing this one ad on its own doesn't work. You need to support all of your efforts in multiple channels.
Yes, I like the cluster marketing. Others may call it like holistic marketing. I mean, using all these multi-channel and like also reuse of content, repurposing of content. So this is all just creating this snowball effect, which is so important. So Melanie, what are some of the mistakes that you see business owners make when they manage their social media presence?
Inconsistency is probably the most common mistake that I see. They go hell for leather all the way through January, early part of February. They get busy, the weather improves, the kids need to see them more at the weekends. They take time off for half term and then they come back and then they kind of lost their momentum. I also think it depends on the tools that you use. One thing that really bothers me about Meta Business Suite is it only allows you to schedule for 29 days. So frustrating. Whereas I can use a scheduler like Post Planner, Hootsuite, Agorapulse, any one of those, and it will let me schedule for multiple months. Even Canva lets you schedule for multiple months. But it kind of does glitch more than actually using Meta Business Suite directly. So I've kind of bit the bullet now, and around the 6th of every month I schedule for the whole month. And then that last little week, I try to remember to go in and schedule for that last little week. But it's, I think, just trying to get into the better, consistent habits of, planning ahead in advance. So I'm not creating the content right now, but I'm strategizing the content for March. I'm looking back on the last sort of 3 to 4 years. There's no point looking back any further than that, because obviously that horrible year or two. But looking back the last 2 to 3 years and thinking, when did my business grow or slow? When was the seasonality? So that's what I like to refer to it as. What is the seasonality of my business? And every single business has its seasons. Like children's shoes. The biggest time of year for children's shoes is August, because the parents want to get the kids in new shoes for September. Sure. Okay. And the biggest, I suppose I have 2 big seasons, and then there's bumps in the road. But the 2 big seasons for me would be February and March, and then September and October. That's when the biggest inquiries come in. And a lot of interest is shown in January, but people are either sick or poor in January. They don't want to see me in case I'm sick, and I don't want to see them because they might be sick. And I sort of convert money, I suppose, in February and March and September and October at its highest. That's when I get my largest contracts. That's when I get sort of even my speaking gigs and that sort of stuff is when I kind of engage them then. And it doesn't mean I don't get work any other time of the year, but those are the peaks. And if you have a look back at the last 2 to 3 years, bearing in mind, you may have had somebody pass away, so that meant you weren't working that time. Maybe you were sick, something like that. Those will have an impact, obviously, on your seasonality. So you have to generalize. And I've noticed it's shifted, because it used to be November, December, and sort of March and April, and it's shifted. And you've got to reflect back on a sort of semi-regular basis, I'd say even annually, to see, what has changed about the market. Was there a change in policy? Was there a change in delivery, supply chain, that sort of thing? And obviously we have to worry about our economies. Every single country around the globe has their own economy issues as well. And then pricing, because that's going to have an impact as well. So I'm bringing in a lot here, aren't I? Sure. But we did have a few minutes to discuss it. But yeah, it's a kind of getting that consistency, getting that understanding of your seasonality. And once you've got that understanding of your seasonality, you can then go, okay, well, I know the busiest time of year for me is going to be February, March. So that's when I convert. So I know that in December and January, I need to start doing awareness and consideration. Because if I don't do it then, I miss the window for February and March.
Yeah.
And because of the market during the summer, although I still get actually quite a lot of business through the summer, I don't get as much business as I do in September and October. So I take people through awareness and consideration quite quickly in September, because there's less interest in awareness in August, because people are on holiday or having time off with their family or just off somewhere, So my marketing funnel tends to be slightly shorter at the end of the year and quite a bit longer at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. So inconsistency is a common factor for mistakes. So why do you think this is happening? Because it's too expensive, they don't think they can win on social media, or it's something else, burnout, or
well, burnout, yes.
Yeah.
But I do think it is it is a heck of a lot of work to market your business online. And when you realize how much you need to do, how much you need to prepare, and how much there's some actual, real, genuine thought processes behind it, you can't just go, I'll post this up. It doesn't work. You have to strategize. And one of my, I suppose there's a really easy way to remember this. As an absolute minimum, actually I'd like you to post more frequently than this, but as an absolute minimum, to post 3 times a week. And the first post needs to serve your audience. So it could be a download, it could be an inspirational quote, it could be something that you've created yourself, like a checklist or a short video explaining how to do something, but it's nothing to do with your business. It's nothing to do with your business and everything to do with who your customers are. The second post you do that week, so the first post was serve, the second post is to share something that matters to them. So I do social media training. If I share something about website design or graphic design or time management tools or project management tools, it's nothing to do with me, but it's everything to do with my audience. And those 2 types of posts tend to be shared more avidly than any of my posts ever. They'll share that to a friend, they'll share that to a Facebook group, they'll share that into a LinkedIn group, they'll send it to an email because it's useful and it's not about me. But then I do need to sell. And I think a lot of the mistakes I see business owners make is, first of all, they're posting inconsistently. And secondly, they're just assuming people will buy their stuff because they're talking about it. But at no stage do they actually try to sell it. They don't say, buy me. They don't say, get your ticket now. They don't say anything about buying their product or service. They just assume people will just get the gist.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Yeah. Interesting. So what are some of the trends in social media marketing that you see? I mean, we're recording this episode at January 2025. Meta is announcing a lot of new things, right? Like AI is getting more and more into this process. And I hear a lot of brands moving to and companies moving to even open targeting, right? On Facebook and Instagram. What are some of the important trends that you identify that are important for business owners out there?
Well, Meta AI isn't actually here yet in Ireland. Do you have it over there?
No, not yet.
No. Yeah, so they're not everywhere yet, but there is, talking about other than the Meta, first and foremost, is there's going to be a giant TikTok hole coming up from the end of this month. All of your favorite creators, all of your favorite businesses, any funny people you've been following, they're all going to disappear. Okay? Over time. They're not going to disappear overnight. They're going to disappear over time. And this is where we, the rest of the world, can step in to this enormous creator hole that's going to come from TikTok no longer being over in the US.
Yeah.
So you could be the next Matt Rife. You could be the next family of people that people follow. Why not?
Yeah.
If they can do it, we can do it. So I think that's something we do need to look at. I think it would be criminal if we didn't try. But back to Meta, yes, they have an enormous amount of new things coming up. And in a couple of months' time, I'm going to be at Social Media Marketing World for the second time. So was there a couple of years ago. And boy, did I have my eyes wide open when I was over there. Because the US tends to be 2 to 3 years ahead of Ireland. I don't know how far ahead, if any, they are over where you are, Ethan.
They tend the same, yeah.
About the same.
Yeah.
So they're about 2 to 3 years ahead of us over here. And the stuff that's coming down, and it's not just down to AI, but it's also down to the AR and VR as well, the tools that are coming out. And through Instagram Notes, through Instagram broadcasts, and all the way over through to, there was some incredible changes to Pinterest coming up as well. So it just depends on where your heart is. I mean, I don't particularly enjoy Pinterest. It's not an area I teach because I don't really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But there'd be a creator or a trainer in every sector. And depending on where your customer is where you need to put your business. It's not where you feel comfortable, it's where your customers are. So you just need to find somebody who can give you competent confidence in a social media platform where your customer is based.
Yes. So these are all, I think, great opportunities. But what I hear as well is that you obviously encourage and recommend to take a coach, to take a mentor, to take someone who is expert in this field and guide you through the process, because all of these efforts are becoming so unique, so specialized. You need a specific expertise to succeed in any type of these social media opportunities that you mentioned, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest. Obviously, there are so many platforms out there, and every one of those platforms is like a huge community with its own set of rules, right? So, this is the rise of agencies, of online, coaching services of any sort. I think it's important for anyone not be afraid and just use them because it's a must. Things are changing so fast, right, and evolving in a rapid pace, and it's important to catch up. So Melanie, this was a great summary. Can you let us know how people can find you?
Absolutely. The best place to find me is on my website at stomp.ie, STOMP. It actually stands for Sole Trader Office Marketing and PR, but I moved a long way from that over the years. Okay. But that's what it actually stands for. And so it's stomp.ie. But you can find me on LinkedIn, pretty much on any of the social channels. I also do have a YouTube channel, and I did forget to mention, I also show people how to use YouTube as well.
Nice. What's the name of your channel?
Nothing clever. Stomp Social Media Training.
Okay, great.
But no, it's just a case of finding the right person for you. And that may not necessarily be me, but I can tell you one thing. If there is anybody who's in whichever country you're based in as you're listening to this, if somebody's honest enough to tell you who the best person is in your country, I'd certainly be able to do that for you. If you're based in certain countries, I can let you know who your best contact is. But I'm also able to train people internationally as well.
Amazing, Melanie. Thank you so much. It was really, really interesting. I wish you an amazing year and all the best.
Thanks, Eitan.
Thank you for listening to the end of this episode. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe so you won't miss any of our future content. And if you could share this with just one person, it would make all the difference. Are you looking to accelerate your sales with the power of shoppable video? Explore Vimeo, the video commerce platform that includes live shopping, shoppable video, and social commerce capabilities. Visit Vimeo at www.vimeo.net, that's VIMMI.net, where you can start with a free for life package. We appreciate your support and look forward for bringing you more valuable insights in our next episode.